We here? Yay, yay. I'm right back at you like I never left, and I'm gonna go this hard to my last breath. Excuse me. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Kanoom, Consul Moon. You already know what you're gonna get when you step in this room. You're now dealing with Kanoom. Yeah, yeah, I'm here. While I'm here, I'm gonna make the information direct and clear because a lot of y'all can't hear. Yeah, yeah. Now, welcome back to Make My Ancestors Great Again. This is another episode of My Thoughts. This is My Thoughts 206, and the title states People and the Bible. It should state people and their manipulation of the Bible, but we'll get into that as I go on with this. People use the Bible at their own discretion, which is wrong. Like I stated, the Bible is a book based on many different types of literature, allegory, oral tradition, mythology, fiction, and flat out lies. This is how the story goes now. Some of the Bible is literal. Some of the Bible is mythology. Some of it is allegory. Some of it is fiction. You notice I didn't say anything about truth or realism because the Bible isn't about that. Notice I didn't mention the word historical because the Bible isn't a history book. Nothing about the Bible is historical. Nothing. Northrop Frye said, if it's anything historical in the Bible, it's there by accident. Okay. This was a man that was great in Canada on literature. That's all he did. Okay. Very powerful man. They named a school after him, I believe. So the Bible is non-historical. What I'm going to show you today is that the people that we have today is nothing but people. Like I said, God is the man that speaks for God. It's nothing but people who's shamming themselves off as this supposed authoritative figure. Like they acting like they're the number one people that can do this stuff. And I got many names I can show you. T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Geno Jennings. He's one of the sillier ones. Joel Osteen, Paula White, Kenneth Copeland, all these type of names. They're the authority. People should be following them, listening to them. Some of them name themselves apostle. Geno Jennings is a supposed apostle. See, he's not supposed. If you know the Bible and what an apostle means, you will disregard that. He's a self-appointed apostle, which makes him a fool. David E. Taylor, self-appointed apostle, which makes him a fool. Brian Carn, self-appointed prophet, which makes him a fool. Juanita Bynum, self-appointed apostle, which makes them silly and foolish. Let's look at the video. I don't own it. You can find it wherever you can and watch it in its entirety. It's just a short clip. It's just a small passage that say what's very rock solid because the Bible has been written. Nothing, we're not in Bible days today. Anything from the Bible that you think is going on now, it's not being rewritten. It's already what it said it was. And if you think that you can say, okay, this is happening and the Bible said that, it's coincidental at best. Nothing about it is prophecy. Though it's proposed prophecy, it's not true. It's just a book written. Nostradamus had a lot of his things come true as well. But Nostradamus didn't say he was God. Let's look at the video. If you feel like you want to do something for me, like and subscribe because it won't cost you a fee. This video is going to say a lot. Let's look at it.
Disciples and gave them authority to cast out evil spirits and heal every kind of disease and illness. These are their names. First, Simon, also called Peter, then Andrew, his brother, James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, and Matthew, the tax collector, James, the son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon, the zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who would later betray me. I sent them out with these instructions. Do not go to the Gentiles or the Samaritans, but only to the people of Israel, God's lost sheep. I told them, go and announce to them that the kingdom of heaven is near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cure those with leprosy, and cast out demons. Freely you have received, so freely give.
Mm.
I gathered my 12 disciples and
That was very powerful. That's from the Bible. I believe Acts or somewhere up in there. I don't know the scripture, but that's when Jesus the Christ gathered his 12 and put them on a mission. That might be in Matthew. He put them on the mission. Let's listen to that again, and I want to go over it piece by piece. The proposed or self-appointed people and the names that I spoke before I played this video. Let's see if this Jesus the Christ know their names. Let's see if he mentioned Brian Corn. Let's see if he mentioned Geno Jennings. Let's see if he mentions Juanita Bynum. Let's see if he mentions the man at the Potter House, T.D. Jakes. Let's see. This is biblical. If you saying that you're an apostle, these are the apostles right here. There are no other ones. Later on, people say Paul became one. No, he didn't. Paul is a damn fool like the rest of these names I'm saying. Paul was in that time, but he came up with his own proposed thing. God taught me. Talking about Jesus. Paul never met Jesus. Not one day of his life. Paul never met Jesus. He said that Jesus taught him for 3 years straight, I guess in the spirit, and he became an apostle. Wrote 3/4 of the New Testament. So as long as you say God sent me, people would listen to your silliness. Let's listen to this again. And when you hear the names that I'm mentioning today, or Paul or any other name, mark it down. Okay, let's listen.
disciples and gave them authority.
This said Jesus gathered his disciples and gave them authority. Very interesting. He gathered his disciples who he was going to give authority. That's the only appointed authority is given by this man named Jesus the Christ. This is what the Bible says. I'm not into the Bible. I'm just giving you what's the Bible say. This is news. I'm reporting news. Let's listen.
Authority to cast out evil spirits and
Authority to cast out evil spirits and to heal. Have you ever seen any of these names that I mentioned do any of that stuff? Not in their church when he said, hey, his hand hurt. He touched his hand. Oh, look what Geno Jennings did, y'all. Look what Joel Osteen, the man hand was hurt. He touched it and now he's healed. No, on a mass, in mass. Go out to the public, clear out a whole hospital room, casting out evil spirits and healing people. Have you seen any of these people do this stuff in today's time? Let's continue.
heal every kind of disease and illness.
Heal every kind of disease and illness. Have you seen any of this? When COVID ran rapid across the United States of America and all across the planet, did you see Geno Jennings, David E. Taylor, T.D. Jakes? Did you see Joel Osteen, Paula White, Kenneth Copeland, Creflo Dollar, Taffley, any of these, Sarah Jakes? Did you see any of these names going all across the globe in their airplane, healing the world? You hear me? Did you see this? No. Let's continue.
These are their names. First,
These are their names. First, this is when I'm giving you a job. Listen to see if you hear any of the names that I continue to mention. Let's listen.
Simon, also
Simon, also called Peter. Is any of the names that I mentioned, forementioned, Peter or Simon? No.
called Peter, then Andrew, his brother.
Andrew, his brother. Is any of the names forementioned named Andrew? Let's continue.
James, the son of Zebedee.
Is anyone named James, the son of Zebedee, here with us today, amongst us today, that call themselves apostles and prophets and disciples and appoint these powerful authority type things over themselves? Is any of their names any of these? Let's continue.
And John, his brother.
Is anybody named John? Okay.
Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, and Matthew.
Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, and Matthew. Anybody named that? Let's continue.
Tax collector. James, the son of Alphaeus.
Another James, the son of Alphaeus. You know any of these people? Let's continue.
Thaddeus, Simon,
Thaddeus, Simon, another Simon. Do you know any of these? Let's go.
Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who
Judas Iscariot, who later betrayed him. So, in the names that this Jesus appointed and gave authority, he even named the man who later betrayed him, set him up for death. He didn't remove his name off the list, but yet and still, you don't hear Gino. You don't hear Brother Jennings. You don't hear old Reverend Dollar. You don't hear old Bishop Jakes. You don't hear old smiling Joel Osteen. You don't hear old thieving Brian Corn. You don't hear these names. You don't hear money stealing, money swindling, uh, word and Bible manipulating to get $1 when need to buy them. You don't hear these names. Let's continue.
would later betray me. I sent them out with these instructions.
I sent them out with these instructions. Wow. Was any of the names forementioned born in the first century? This is the first century. See, from year 0 to 100, that's considered the first century. Was any of those names forementioned born at that time? The oldest of them wasn't even born in 1919, let alone the first century. Let's continue.
Do not go to the Gentiles or the Samaritans.
Listen to what this bigot, Jesus the Christ, said. Because, see, people ask me, why do you think Jesus is a bigot? It's very clear. He has some people called the chosen people. That's choosing one over another. That's a bigot. You remember a thing called slavery? Slavery put European people over African people or any other race on the planet. That's called being a bigot. All through this country, they had things for white, things for African people, kept it separate. One was better, the other one was lesser. So a bigot always separate people and put his people over the other people. That's a bigot. And that's what Jesus did. He said, do not take it to the Gentiles or the Samaritans,
But only to the people of Israel.
but only to the people of Israel. Why is he saying that? Those are his people, special chosen people. Let's continue.
God's lost sheep. I told them, go and announce to them that the kingdom of heaven is near.
God's lost sheep. He told them to go announce that the heaven is near.
Heal the sick, raise the dead.
Heal the sick, raise the dead. This is very key. Have any of those names forementioned did any of that? No. Let's continue.
Cure those with leprosy and cast
Leprosy. You don't even hear about that now. Have any of those names forementioned healed leprosy? No.
out demons. Freely you have received, so freely give. I gathered my 12 disciples and
Okay. That's my thoughts on the video for all these self-appointed men, the apostles, the disciples, and all these great men that prophets and all this type of stuff. So that's my thoughts on the video. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Canoe, Consort Moon. You already know what you're gonna get when you step in this room. You're now dealing with Canoe. This is what I do, and I love to do it. And before I take back what I said, I add some more to it. From everything I've gathered, nothing of any of the religions is true. Okay, but you can continue to believe in it. That has, you got every right to do so. Okay. If you feel like you want to do something for me, like and subscribe because it won't cost you a fee. Education and preparation is the first step to retaliation. So before you pick up a weapon or a silly religion, pick up some knowledge. It's not to take religion from you. This is to restore spirituality, which was taken from you at the time religion was given to you. Okay. If anybody's offended by anything you heard, I mean every word. Yeah, yeah.